Illum il-11 ta' Diċembru 2024 bħalissa qiegħda fuq ir-runway il-ħin huwa ftit wara il-5 ta' wara nofsinhar għax għażil din il-flight biex żgur ma noħux special leave mill-iskola u ħankun aċċettajt li mmur għaliex ħajkunu vaganzi. Il-5 vaganza, it-12 ta' Diċembru u 13 ta' Diċembru vaganza. Opportunità oħra sabiħa li hija veru ninsab onorata u grata u qasam dik kliem nirringrazzja l-bambin kull ħin u kull mument jekk nibda ngħid kemm hu l-bambin kbir li jiena li nħossni veru hekk umli u onorata fl-istess ħin għaliex ħankun qiegħda fl-Università prestiġjuża ħafna ta' Cambridge l-Ingilterra biex nippreżenta paper l-istudju li għamilt jiena fuq il-psikoloġija ta' x'jgħaddu minnu l-istudenti tal-post-secondary li jkollhom 18-il sena li jagħmlu A-levels u jaħlu minn xi A-level u allura ma jkollhomx biżejjed punti biex jidħlu l-università jew il-ħolm li kien ikollhom ovvjament waqt li tkun qed tistudji inti jkollok pjanijiet jew università jew xogħol u tkun tixtieq taħdihom mill-A-levels issek teħel minn wieħed ma jkollokx biżejjed imbagħad il-pjanijiet jinbidlu. Jiena xtaqt ninvestiga dawn l-emozzjonijiet, il-coping skills kif jikkopjaw, x'metodi jużaw biex huma jirkupraw minn din meta jirċievu r-riżultati jkollhom disfatta u anke li mija din importanti li huma l-aqwa mezz ta' support li huma jaħsbu li hu ideali f'daw il-każijiet meta teħel minn eżami daqshekk importanti. U dan ix-xogħol tiegħi li xogħol ġi 22,000 u iktar kliem ġifieri ma kelli nqassru biex nagħmlu paper u ħankun qiegħda nippreżenta fil-Università ta' Cambridge ġifieri jiena veru ninsab hekk kuntenta u hekk kif qedtilkom. Nirringrazzja l-bambin kull ħin u kull mument hekk veru qasirit nemmen opportunità mina li hija veru kbira. Sabiħa immens. Ħanitilqu issa minn Malta u naraw kif ħammorru il-bambin magħna. Il-ħin issa huwa 28 u wasalna biex nagħmlu landing. L-amċappa ma tidher xejn. Iżda dan it-tant jien dal-ħin qatt nerġa' nistudja il-presentation li ħa nagħmel għada filgħodu imma mbagħad qed nerġa' naqra l-istudju li qed nagħmel fuq l-istressers tal-A-level biology u chemistry students. Nerġa' nikkorreġi u nerġa' nagħmel elementi bil-bajro ħalli issa meta jkolli ċans nerġa' noqgħod nirranġa bil-computer ovvjament. Studju sabiħ ħafna ħajkun qed nipprova nagħmel x'imkien imma ma jidher xejn. U insomma issa ħaninżlu nmorru lukanda da filgħodu l-Università ta' Cambridge.
My name is Josephine and I'm coming from the very tiny island of Malta. It is an island, as I was telling some of you who I was talking to, the biggest distance from one end to the other end of the island is 27 kilometers and our population is just under 500,000. So we are very, very tiny, but I'm so honored to be here with you today in this international conference. We have come from all over the world to share our passions. And I really would like to say congratulations to all because all your work was very, very, very interesting. And I hope that my work will be of interest as well. Because today I'm talking about something totally different from what I have heard earlier on. I have heard some people who mentioned the well-being of the students, and I am talking about an interpretative phenomenological analysis of post-secondary students' emotional responses and coping strategies following examination failure of advanced level biology. I have been a teacher of biology for the past 24 years, and during my years I have encountered different students, many different students. Every year I teach more than 100 students. This is my positionality. That photo is showing some of my in class, and I am also a mother of a 16 years old son. In a post-secondary school, the students are between the ages of 16 to 18, because in Malta compulsory schooling is up to 16 years old. And after that, students can opt to either further their education, so they have to seek a post-secondary school to go to, or else they start working. And in my opinion, the ages of 16, 17, and 18 years old are fantastic ages, when the students are still young, and I think that they should be enjoying life and be happy. But from my experience, I have seen throughout the years many students who are not happy. And I can't come here and say this, I have to back it up by research. And research that has been carried out in the Maltese Islands show that around 70% of the students of these ages are not happy. In Malta, we also have the statistics that 1 out of 4 we have psychological difficulties. And very sadly, sometimes we hear of suicides even at these ages. And this breaks my heart. And as an educator who spend a considerable amount of hours every day with these students, you know, and I have my own son at this age. So I really believe that they deserve to have at least the education, the scholastic years within these 2 years happy. And they end and they go to further education more resilient and more prepared. You know, so the first study that I did, in the meantime, I have graduated as a teacher, but then I moved on. I studied MBA as well, so business and administration, but I thought it wasn't my area. That makes me happy. I want to remain in education, and now I'm doing my doctorate. And the first study that I did was to investigate what do these students think of, what do they understand by the term well-being, because this is very subjective. For me, being here presenting, it's like, wow, I really enjoy it, you know. But there can be someone else who says, no, I wouldn't go in front of an audience. That causes negative emotions to me. So well-being is very subjective. And on Bradbury's theory of subjective well-being, I wanted to analyze the positive factors that students believe that increase their well-being and the negative factors that diminish their well-being. And the third factor, because then I carried another study in the meantime, but today I'm here to focus on my third study that investigates the failing an important examination. So during this post-secondary years in Malta, students are doing what we call advanced level examinations and intermediate level examinations. And if they fail one of them, it can be that all their dreams of going to university or that particular job, they vanish, they disappear all of a sudden. So I wanted to understand what emotional responses do students experience upon failing an important examination. What coping strategies do they adopt to manage these emotions? And what forms of support do they consider helpful in preparing for resit examinations? So my intention was to make the students the protagonists of the study, not just being a senior leadership team around the table, inviting only the, heads and the deputy heads, and we brainstorm what is best for our students, and then we implement. But I wanted to really investigate. That's why I chose a phenomenological approach, so that I immerse myself and I get as much information from the students themselves. And this is our beautiful island. It's an archipelago. We have Malta, and then Comino, and there are only around 4 people there. And then there is Gozo, that is our sister island. And so most university courses requirements, they require 2 advanced levels, 3 intermediate levels, and systems of knowledge, that is another intermediate level. So studies indicate that examination failure is often associated with negative emotional responses, such as despair and anger, which can impact students' motivation and self-concept. And these, for me, the motivation, is going to influence their future and their self-concept. Of course, they are not going to be happy with their life. So this is shown by also other scholars who investigated this subject. Students who fail important examination may drop out of the education system. And I found out that it's true, and many who fail, they opt to start working and don't continue their education. Research shows that failure can lead to decreased self-efficacy that we heard about even today earlier on, and psychological distress, adversely affecting students' future academic success and even emotional well-being. And despite this insight, there is a notable lack of local studies exploring the emotional impact of examination failure on Maltese students, so I wanted to investigate there. I used the attribution theory as the theoretical framework that underpins this study by Weiner, and he started in 1986, but then he proceeded and he developed it up till 2018. And this says that how individuals perceive the causes of their successes and failures, so I wanted to investigate that, and how these perceptions influence their future behavior and motivation. So this framework focuses on three main components. The locus of control. It's my fault that I didn't pass the exam because I didn't study enough. So that is an internal locus of control. Or I didn't pass because the examiners are very cruel and they do a very difficult examination paper, or other sorts of things. Stability. Whether the cause is consistent. Whenever we have tests in class during these 2 years, I was always like on the borderline, or sometimes I failed, so it was expected that I am going to fail. Or it was variable. I always pass my exams with flourishing colors, you know? And how comes it now, in the actual maths exam, that is the determining exam, I failed? And then the controllability. Whether individuals believe they can control the outcome. If I do the reset, I will still fail because I'm not good. Or else, I will study as much as it takes because next time, for sure, I want to pass. So there are these three factors that I wanted to focus on. Of course, I had to take the interpretivism approach. I will hurry up because soon he's going to tell me time up. And inductive and research tools that I use. So, in Malta, the results, the students receive them on the mobile. They get a message of the results. And this is at beginning of July. After that, because there is the summer recess, students who fail seek the help of other teachers, private lessons teachers. And I provide that service, and students immediately after the publishing of the results, they start calling, I need private lessons for advanced level biology. So this year, because I was preparing this study, when they called, I was asking them, I am working to foster greater, higher well-being in post-secondary students, and I am investigating the emotional responses after failing such an important exam and coping skills, and to investigate what support we educators can give you better. Would you like to participate? This involves, I interview you before we start the lessons to see what is your experience, what are you feeling, how did you react to the news that you failed. And then, during the lessons that are 3 times a week for 6 weeks, because after the 6th week there is the reset. We call it the reset exam, the second session exam. So I monitor of course I teach them, so I know what they are doing, you know, but after the lesson I write the journal. So I am all the time like reflecting on what they are doing, how they are behaving. Their facial expressions, do they seem that they are actively participating, they are, a little bit more conservative because they are sad? After the third week, I did a focus group with all of them. I had 10 participants to investigate deeper. And sometimes when they speak in a group, and someone says something that the other person aligns with, they speak and they share and they elaborate even more. So I wanted the focus group again. And after the 6th week, so after doing the lessons, I did an individual interview again with all of them so that I can compare the results. I am going to, so this was perfect, research process. Of course, I got the permissions from a lot of people, okay? I used the Bronx-Clark thematic analysis. I inputted all the replies in a very big Excel sheet, and I'm coming to the findings. So the demographics, they came from all different villages and towns and from all socioeconomic statuses. I have 7 females and 3 males. 18 students were 18 years old because they had completed the 2 years of post-secondary, and 2 were 17 years old, still going to 18. They are all Maltese. They live with their families, and they all obtained F, that is fail. What emotional responses do students experience upon failing an important examinations? I found 7 intense, 7 students, they experienced intense emotional responses, and there were other 3 who experienced moderate responses. Like receiving the results felt like a crushing defeat. In that moment, it seemed as though the world had come to an end. My emotions were in a turmoil. I felt shocked and deeply disappointed in myself. Internal focus and locus of control. I felt helpless and sure that I won't pass the next time, so controllability. I felt that my potential dropped lower than the x-axis of a graph. And she said this, I don't know. Failing at an exam is very disheartening. I invested so much time and effort in studying only to face failure. Experiencing this setback has significantly impacted my motivation and self-esteem, and I am worried about my chances in the next attempt. So the fear. Shocked, sad and guilty that I did not study enough for it. When I read the message, I froze. For a moment, I couldn't think. I felt shocked, guilty, and disappointed. I couldn't believe it. I felt ashamed of myself. I had a million mixed feelings and confusing thoughts inside my brain. And student 10 explained that she stopped going out and spent most of her time studying. This was after not the first interview, but later on. She even stopped working. She had a part-time job and she stopped. Furthermore, she even missed attending her grandparents' wedding anniversary, and she had a very big argument with her parents, with her mother, but she couldn't go there. So, there are a lot of things that I heard in the intense reactions. I felt that I needed to punish myself. I kept isolating myself. I felt depressed. It was an overwhelming experience. Self-hatred, self-belief are intense responses from these wonderful human beings, And some also refer to physical symptoms. I have headaches most of the time. I have stomach aches. I do not sleep at night. I feel anxiety. And other things, other aspects. Fear of disappointing the parents and the grandparents in Malta. Grandparents are very, very huge part of the family. Losing university entry opportunities and missing out on summer enjoyment while the peers who pass the exams are enjoying and celebrating. I am the whole summer closed in my room studying. And as I told you, there were 3 students who reported moderate reaction to failure, exhibiting a carefree attitude and not experiencing depression or anxiety. They attributed their failure to not studying enough and showed a realistic self-assessment which mitigated negative emotions, as I read for the literature review. I will skip a bit these because time is pressing. And I move to the second research questions. What coping strategies do you adopt to manage these emotions? And here I noticed that the students perform introspective evaluation. So most of them had adopted a mindset shift, and some an avoidance behavior. So some of them said, I try my best to revise and study more. I am also trying to take breaks, as I was overtired before, which could be the reason I did not do so well. And different students were giving me these mindset shifts that, no, I have to focus, I have to prioritize the exam, I have to study, you know? And even positive psychology plays a significant role. I am one of those who in class I try to make the students, fun and having fun, at least for those 2 hours, to make it easier. And I am all the time passing messages about positive psychology and positivity, focusing on the glass as half empty and encouraging to see the half empty and how can I fill it? How can I fill it now? So some students refer to that, helped them a lot. But there were some who adopted the avoidance behavior, who could not take it that when I corrected their work, they were getting still D's and E's and F's, And then after 3 weeks, and I did the focus group, I noticed that one didn't continue attending anymore. Another person said that when she feels some anxiety and she doesn't know how to cope with it, she goes and watches television and she bings on Netflix series, So these are the 3 final teams, emotional reactions, intense and moderate, introspective evaluation, mindset shifts, and avoidance behavior, and the support networks. Students really value the support of family, peers, and educators in different ways. So family, of course, because they are their immediate people who they live with at home, and the peers, because in the classroom they were 10 people who were all experiencing the same emotions of failure, so they could relate to each other and they could support each other through their experiences and shared goals. And the support from the educators, like one-to-one, when you speak to them one-to-one and they can really pour their hearts out, and you can encourage them and motivate them, and it's okay, you're not the first one who failed, do you know how many people failed before you? Let us work hard, this is an opportunity to increase our abilities, and students really value that. And of course, what came out and what is Eger and Duke's work on growth mindset and promoting resilience and adaptability within the academic context. And I think that from my conclusions, there is a need for us educators to inform ourselves, because sometimes, let us say for my subject, we are so intense that really lecturing world biology, But then we forget that we have human beings with emotions. And we have the amazing power to empower our students, because these are our tomorrow's leaders. And we can empower them, and we can give them this positivity and zone of proximal development. It's okay to fail, it's an opportunity to work harder. Let's be positive about it, I know people who failed when they were young, but now they are leaders of major companies because they didn't give up. And and of course then I did some recommendations and for future studies, of course, because I would like to implement some strategies and then see the effect, if there is positive effect afterwards. And I would like to tell you more. I would really like my paper to get published so that I can share with you the DOY and you can read, and I think it's time up. So I thank you for hearing.